Welcome back on Study Section 2 on HG 201 Introduction to Agricultural Economics. In the previous study section, we discussed the scope of economies, the definition, all the scopes, and all the types of economies. Here, on this study section 2, we'll be discussing the demand and supply analysis. Follow me as we go through the learning outcome one after the other. Demand and supply analysis is the study of how buyers and sellers interact to determine transaction prices and quantities. So the private enterprise market economies, which are the chief concern of investment analysts, demand and supply analysis encompasses the most basic set of microeconomic tools. So the theory of the firm deals with the supply of goods and services by profit maximizing firms. So the theory of the consumer and the theory of firm are important because they help us understand the foundations of demand and supply. At the end of this study section, you should be able to know some basic notions of supply and demand. Also, you should know the rules guiding constructing markets. And lastly, you should be able to know how to analyze changes in market equilibrium. Let's discuss this learning outcome one after the other. The basic notion of supply and demand is a model for understanding the determination of the price of quantity of a good sold on the market. So the explanation works by looking at the two different groups, that is the buyers and the sellers, and looking at how they interact. So the supply and demand model relies on a high degree of competition, meaning that there are enough buyers and sellers in the market for bidding to take place. So buyers bid against each other and thereby raise the price, while sellers bid against each other and thereby lower the price. So the equilibrium is a point at which all bidding has been done and nobody has any incentive to offer higher prices or accept lower prices. So we have different types of competition. We have perfect and imperfect competition. Perfect competition exists when there are so many buyers and sellers and there are no single buyer or seller, and this can affect the price on the market unilaterally. So perfect competition is where supply and demand model applies most accurately. And the second one is imperfect competition. Imperfect competition exists when a single buyer or seller has the power to influence the price of the market. So demand is being referred to as both willingness and ability to pay, while quantity demanded is the total amount of the goods that buyers will choose to purchase under a given condition. And these conditions are: 1, the price of the goods; the income and wealth; the prices of the substitutes and complements. The next one is population, and the next one is taste or preferences, and the last one is expectations of future prices. So let's talk about the law of demand. The law of demand states that when the price of a good rises and everything else remains the same, the quantity of a good demanded will fall. So a demand curve is a graphical representation of the relationship between price and quantity demanded, ceteris paribus. Demand curve is a curve or a line at each point of which a price QD is paid. That point shows the amount of the good buyers will choose to buy at that price. So changes in demand or shifts in demand occur when one of the determinants of demand other than price changes. In other words, shifts occur when the ceteris are not paribus. So the demand curve's current position depends on those other things. So when they change, the demand curve position change also. The price of a substitute good drops. This implies a leftward shift. The price of complement good drops also. This implies a rightward shift. The income increases. This implies a rightward shift for most goods. Preference change. This could cause a shift in either direction depending on how preferences change. Supply is not just the amount of something there, but the willingness and the ability of a potential sellers to produce and sell it. So quantity supply, which is being denoted as QS, is the total amount of a good that sellers will choose to produce and sell under a given conditions. And the given conditions include the following: the price of the good, prices of factors of production, that is the labor and capital, the prices of alternative products, the firm could produce, and also the technology is being affected by quantity supply, the productive capacity, expectations of future prices. When we talk about supply, we are talking about the relationship between quantity supply and the price of the good, while holding everything else constant. So the law of supply states that when the price of a good rises and everything else remains the same, the quantity of the good supplies will also rise. A supply curve is a graphical representation of the relationship between price and quantity supplied. It is a curve or a line at which each point of which is a price QS pair. So the point shows the amount of the goods sellers will choose to sell at that price. Changes in supply or shifts in supply occur when one of the determinants of supply other than price changes. So change in quantity supply means a movement along the supply. Change in supply, also referred to as a shift of a supply curve, caused by something other than a change in price. Change in supply, referred to as a shift of the curve supply, caused by something other than a change in price. Constructing markets, putting demand and supply together. Equilibrium can be found where the supply and the demand curve cross. So the equilibrium consists of an equilibrium price, that is the P star, and an equilibrium quantity. The equilibrium must satisfy the market clearing condition, which is the quantity of demand, which equals to the quantity of supply, that is the QD must equal to QS. If price is below P star, let's say the PL, then we have the quantity of demand greater than quantity of supply, that is QD is greater than QS. In this case, we have what we called excess demand or shortage. The quantity that actually occurs will be QS. For this quantity, buyers are willing to pay much more than the PL, so they will start bidding against each other and raising the price. So if the price is below P star at PL, then we have QS greater than QD, that is the quantity supply greater than quantity demanded, and this is called excess supply or surplus. When there is surplus or excess supply, the suppliers will start competing against each other for customers by lowering the price. So the price floors or price ceilings are government mandated prices that attempt to control the price of a good or services. Analysis changes in market equilibrium. A rightward shift in demand could be caused by many things, and these includes an increase in an income, a higher price of substitute, a lower price of complements, and etc. Such a shift would tend to have two effects, which are they will increase the equilibrium price, and also they will increase the equilibrium quantity. Mates, I hope you've learned one or two things from this video section. Join me for the next study section. Thank you for listening.